All right, I'm gonna start recording. There we go. Hi guys. Okay. Level design and blockout in Unreal. That's gonna be today's focus. Oh, a little bit of this is sorry. This is my desktop background, but bonus points if anyone can tell me what you guys can tell me what this game is from. um, this is
I don't know if you're sharing your screen as of yet.
Oh, I'm not sharing my screen on
Yeah,
Discord.
not
You're
Discord.
so right. You're so right. Hold on. I'm sorry. There, now you also get to stare at my blank desktop background. Um, Custom. Uh, there we go. You guys see this?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Does that ring a bell? Anyone?
Oh,
Hmm.
I'm not sure if I know what that is. I think I do, but
Is that blacklight?
Yes, you legend. Yes, yes. You know Blacklight.
Yes, I used to play it for a little bit.
This is my favorite. Like Blacklight Retribution has to be probably my favorite FPS game, like of all time. It's a free to play game. But the
I
style
didn't
of
get
it,
to play much of it, mainly because the computer I was trying to run it on, it was running at like 15 frames per second.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
Damn. It was built in Unreal Engine 3, which was kind of inspiring to me at the time. But graphically, I thought it looked so good. And the devs killed it. Like they killed the PC servers, but the art of this game was so ahead of its time. Like all of the helmets in it were
mm,
so helmets were a big part of the game, and it just had
it's like
it,
Halo.
yeah, yeah. Well, not only is it like Halo, most of the artists in this game ended up getting picked up by Bungie to make a lot of the helmets that we now see in. Like I shit
Oh,
you not.
nice.
The reason there's a lot of aesthetic in Destiny, and it actually is like artists that were on this game.
That's super sick.
It is awesome. I'm gonna take a second to nerd out about this
It's
as
okay.
we
We
move
can
on.
take it out in post.
No, like, dude, like, what an aesthetic! What an aesthetic! Um,
Yeah, the aesthetic was really good.
it was
I really like
really
the
The
weapon
360 game.
customization.
360.
Yeah,
Yes, I
there was a
believe it
box.
came out.
Oh,
Yeah, it came out on PS3 and 360 at some
Mm,
point.
yeah, yeah. It was initially, I think, yeah, it was PC and Xbox and PS3, and then they shut it down on PC at some point. This is also a really unique game in that like instead of giving you a mini map, everyone just has wall hacks that they can like ping for like a few seconds every so often. So
oh
that's
my
how
god.
instead of having like that's the whole point of the helmets. They're hyper
Mhm,
reality visors. So like one of the main keybinds in the game is V, and when you press
mhm.
it, your guy can't shoot, but he like puts his hand up to his helmet, and you get like wall hacks on all your friendlies and enemies. You get this like really cool um,
Huh,
perspective, and you like pulse it on for like a couple seconds, and then it has to recharge. But you get X-ray on like the whole environment.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was very interesting.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. All right. All right. Sorry. So that's enough. But honestly, the reason that I'm talking about this a bit is because Blacklight probably serves as a really healthy example of like level design as well. They had some pretty cool like first person shooter maps, and like we're gonna look at this from an artsy standpoint in a
Mhm.
bit. Um,
Got to
yeah.
make a level that fits the game.
Yeah. 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 So that's actually the first thing that I want to do today is ask you guys. Um, the idea today is I want to spend something like I'm gonna open up a text document just to like give you a visual here. I want to do something like uh, uh, 15 to 20 mins of like inspiration slash looking into how to uh, generate like plan level designs, show you guys some things that I've done in the past, particularly in like a game jam scenario where I feel like I have a limited amount of time to go over this stuff,
Hmm.
and then spend like 20 minutes uh, messing around on game jam themes and actually like trying to design levels like just for the heck of it in a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Like I'll drop you guys like a either a spreadsheet or like MS Paint or something, but like
Gonna
give
go
you
crazy on paint.
yeah, just give you time to like, draw up
Mhm.
an idea exactly how you would if you had like 30 hours ahead of you and you've been brainstorming with your team and you're like, all right, let's plan this out. So, uh, and then from there, I'm going to explore Unreal Engine lockout techniques and then actually let you guys recreate your designs in Unreal Engine for like the other 40 minutes of that's the idea. That's the idea. Yeah.
So we'll
So
be very hands-on today.
yeah. Do you guys
Nice.
have Unreal Engine installed?
Yeah, it takes me a while to load it up, but
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah,
just give me a little bit of preemptive time, and I think we'll be good.
yeah.
Well,
I just opened up 3.0, so
Unreal 3? Unreal
Wait.
3?
not 3.0. I meant
5.3.
5.3.
5.3. Got you. Dude, I'd be
5.3.
so impressed. No. Unreal
Oh my
3 is.
God.
I don't know if it's still accessible. It was called Unreal Development Kit back in the day. I'd be so impressed. If you had UDK installed, I'd be like,
in
no way.
shock.
He's a real one. We're actually recreating Blacklight. God. Brings back memories. They had like their own node-based programming back then. Like it's crazy to think they called it Kismet. Anyways, all right. So yeah. So first things first. I'm gonna like go through some old shenanigans of mine and try to show the level design process. One of my I'm gonna show you like some old Trello boards. Do you guys know what Trello is?
Yes,
Yes.
So
I know better from the aisle.
Trello's nice. Atlassian is an interesting company that's gotten a bit of a bad rep lately. Apparently, there's like a large exodus of terrible managers from like Amazon that push people too hard, and those managers have moved over to Atlassian, and the culture at Atlassian has dissolved. So I'm keen to point that out. Allegedly, Atlassian is a really shitty company now, but they make pretty good software. I mean, I use SourceTree from them. And Trello's pretty good as well. So this is
From the past.
yeah. Let me see. So here's Super Florida Man. There was a
What?
Super Florida Man was an old club-wide game development project. The idea was like, back when UF was just its own branch, completely independent. I hosted a just a big club-wide game jam, so we could all like work together on a big game jam, and but it would be the whole semester. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to essentially create Super Mario 64. Yeah, like an OG Super Mario game, kind of like Super Mario Galaxy or something, a collectathon. Except instead of Mario, the main character is like the Florida Man.
Okay.
Yeah. We had like concept art and stuff. It was going to be something like this. He's got like a alligator in his backpack. Yeah, it was it was an adventure. But in the process of that, like we had to come up with a level. So our theme was okay, Super Florida Man. That's going to be the theme of the game. How are we going to make the level? And we ended up we had this was like our level design. So this is like a top-down screenshot of a map in Unreal Engine, and it was like the first level was going to be the zoo. So in like MS Paint, I sat down and just gave it titles and stuff, and put together what I wanted to look like a level inside of Unreal Engine. So it's like, okay, there's a central mountain that's like surrounded by like some water, kind of like the Bomb Battlefield level, but it's going to be a giant zoo. And the idea is going to be you're like breaking into the zoo at nighttime to rescue a baby alligator, because that's the kind of thing Florida Man would do. Like just as the first level. And that was going to be like the star. Instead of stars or coins, we had oranges, like hovering oranges that you would pick up. Whatever. It was fun. It was an adventure. But this is it's an example of like the sort of like quick, sketch up of a level that we designed. This is what we had in terms of what we wanted to build. Let me show you another like example of game jam esque planning. Um, Stacked cities. There's I think if I go to like archive, yeah, Game Jam 2021. Um, I don't actually see the additional content here. No, that's not. Never mind. Mm, 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 mm. Um, Gator Game Jam. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Yep. So this is another example. This is what my friend did as like this is what he did when we were working on rushing through a game jam. This is the like level design that he created. I mean, this is it's pretty like messy. This was made by my friend Tony, but it's an example. It's a really good example of you're in a rush and you're coming up with something. So we were trying to make a collectathon, and we have like these different locations. We have this mountain over here for star number 4, star number 1 on some like hills on the bottom left corner of the map. This is like an elevated chunk of the map that's kind of in a spiral. There's like a crashed spaceship in the middle, some floating islands, and we ended up recreating this in Unreal Engine pretty easily. Like once you have an idea for what a level should look like, it is not that hard to at the very least get the basic level cranked out in the Unreal editor. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah, completely. You need an idea to build on,
yeah,
otherwise you don't know where to start.
exactly. Being creative is the hard part. I'm going to show one more example. So this is an example using graph paper, which is pretty satisfying and pretty effective. But if you're trying to be more organized, screenshots and stuff like that might not work that well. I want to just give you ideas for the sort of tools that you can use. My favorite tool for this sort of thing is genuinely using like Google Sheets, and you can crank out a giant spreadsheet that has here. Let's see. So this is one of my current ongoing projects that I care a lot about, and we have a couple of spreadsheets that dictate how we're going to build this. So this spreadsheet right here, let me let it load for a second. I have to zoom out on this to appreciate the scale here, but the idea is to, yeah, here. So,
Oh, I've seen this.
yeah. So this is like,
I saw that.
this is how I've been doing this, just working in a spreadsheet, merging cells, color coding them, and you can also add comments on cells, and it helps you kind of like stay organized. Excuse me. And if you decide
You
on
can't really just draw it with a pen, but it looks nice.
I think you can. You can draw the borders with pens.
I think there might be a tool for that in like Excel, but Google Sheets, I don't know if it lets you rapidly select borders and like paint over them. Like you can,
Seems hard to make curves.
yeah. It definitely is. But if you're going for a relatively like clean geometry, or I mean, if you can hold control and just like click really fast, or there isn't really a easy way to select a paint over a surface. But yeah, I'm saying this is an example. Another thing, the idea behind this game is to procedurally generate like the floors of a giant skyscraper, and like the rooms that we're generating the floors out of. This is another sheet that we're doing for this. So like this is discussing some of the proc gen elements. We have like we recommend 75% view on a 1080p monitor, zoom out a little bit, and then it's like, okay, here's the possible layouts which this room could spawn. So this is like a bathroom, and these are like sinks, and these are stalls, and we use emojis. Here's like a possibility where some NPCs spawn, trying to explain how the player might interact with the level. So hopefully this is like inspiring for how to quickly, iterate and come up with content. We have a soup kitchen. quarry that's like these tubes of lava that are coming through some pillar. Poor are us. There's some socioeconomic themes in the game. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. there's
The
like
lost room.
yeah. There's a socioeconomic narrative. I won't go into too much detail, but levels the skyscrapers like a metaphor for socioeconomic stratification, where like the lowest floors of the skyscraper are like dirt poor, like just absolutely bottom class, and there's middle class, and then the top floors of the skyscraper are like futuristic upper class people.
No. It's like that one train movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there
That one train
that one
movie?
Yeah, that
train
one
movie?
train movie.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course.
Are you talking about
I
Bullet
do.
Train?
No, like the world was like covered in ice, and all the poor people were at the back, and all the rich people at the front.
Oh,
Yo.
I
is
don't
it like
remember her name.
Snow Train or something like that?
Something,
Snow
Interesting.
Express or something like that?
maybe.
Socioeconomic.
It's the Polar Express.
It's the Polar Express, but like
Polar
socioeconomic
Express, there we
edition. God. All right.
What Santa doesn't want you to know about.
Did you know the kids in front are getting 3 gifts? It's because their parents invested in the North Pole
In the back
trudge
of the
fund.
train to make
Trust
the
fund.
gifts.
Yeah. So, okay, that's just this has been hopefully somewhat inspiring. The next step, I want to ask you guys. Let's come up with a couple of random like game jam themes, and I'll play along with you. So let's come up with some ideas for me here. Let's see. We could do like
You ever play Slime Rancher?
sure. Yeah.
That game's cool, but I don't know if that's like level design. That's like map design.
No, but I want to just come up with like a
But the
theme or
map
two.
is a level.
Yeah, that's fair.
Here, I can also just
It's definitely big scale though.
game jam theme generator. Just gonna pull up one of these websites as well. We can reflect on these. Generate a small world. That's kind of funny. Okay, honestly, a small world. Why not? And then also
Slime Rancher fits for that.
I don't know. Stuck in a loop. Stuck in a loop might be a good one. Stuck in a loop. All right. Do you guys want to pick one of these? Is there like?
So what's stuck in a loop? Like it's a donut?
It's up to you. It's up to you, right? Like that's totally open to interpretation. You could do multiple interpretations. You could do the donut interpretation. You could do the like time interpretation. You could make one of those games where like every time that you play it, you're just replaying the same thing, but like your old body is like sticks around. I love games like that.
Oh, like Undertale or something? Or no, not
Does
that.
Undertale
But
do that? I don't know.
I know Undertale's like if you like do something in a run and then you go back and do it again.
Oh
like,
yeah,
it will remember that you were there.
I was thinking more of. I've seen some Flash games where it's sort of like a 2D side scroller, like New Super Mario Bros. Or something. But like the second that you like die on some spikes or something, you just respawn, and when you respawn, your old copy is
dead
like
body.
Yeah, exactly. And you use your dead body to make progress. You're like, oh, I can step on my like dead ash like on the spikes and like walk across them.
There's actually one that I saw for Game Jam where death as a mechanic is the theme, and one of the entries was literally you're in this white space and you're a cube, and you're supposed to figure out where to go, but there's also like dangers, but every time you hit the danger you splat and you color the world.
Huh.
Interesting. Very interesting. So yeah, like they're totally open to interpretation. I just wanted to give you guys a couple of like decent options. I want you to pick one of these, and I know this is kind of difficult because we don't have that many people in the call today. But like, what here strikes you as a good one to go for? Like,
I don't know. I'm kind of like in Small World for me.
You like Small World? You guys are down with that?
Small World's pretty good, yeah.
All right, we'll rock Small World. I'm not gonna like, pollute any interpretations. I want you to spend the next, let's go until 450, maybe 455.
Mhm.
Come up with 450 is good. 450. Let's try to come up with like a vague idea for your game, and then in turn like a level. Optimally, pick some sort of idea that would require you to generate a bit of a level. Like use a spreadsheet, use MS Paint, but just draw out, dream up a level for me. That would be the step. Okay, you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
That is
Go
reasonable for me.
ahead. I'll play along with you as well. Like I'll be on my other monitor messing around. So, or I'll be over here. A small world.
No.
Let's do it. Welcome, Dion and Mike. How's it going, guys?
Doing good.
Nice, nice. Small world. Small world. Man. Yeah, I don't want to make anyone feel deprived of their originality by sharing my ideas. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen, but I'll be messing around and it'll still be on the recording. So, yeah. I have some clever ideas here. I'm gonna go use the restroom for a minute though, but I'll be dreaming while I'm at it. Be back in a minute, guys. Oh man. All right. I'm back. You guys are in for some goofy content. I've had a funny idea. I don't know what you're all working with, but oh, it's gonna be good. Uh, okay. Took me a minute to come up with the idea itself, but I think we're now in a point where we can work on a spreadsheet. So let's see.
I think I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I just
You
like to
got
go very simple.
nice. Very nice. Um, here I'm still I'm still grinding it out a little bit, but I'm happy with the direction that I've gone in. All right, 3 minutes. 3 minutes. I'm absolutely sprinting through. uh, I feel like I'm playing City Skylines out here.
I have it, but I have yet to touch it.
Okay. Hmm. This is such a wild idea. Okay, it's 4:50. um, you guys want to talk about these for a second? We ready?
I think I went the wrong direction. I
You
don't
think
even
you
know
went the
this
wrong direction?
level.
That's okay. That's
I
okay.
think I planned out a game. I didn't plan out a map.
See, yeah, exactly. It took me a second to go from like planning out a game to then like just sketching up the map in the last like 5 minutes
Yeah.
here.
I mean, I have a visual for like direction, but I don't have like I made a visual that is an overarching map rather than the specific levels. Does that
I
make sense?
see. I see.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's okay. That's all right. Here, go ahead and do you want to share your screen?
I go first.
Oh, if you want to, I can go first if you'd like. I don't want to.
Yeah, I think you do that.
Okay,
I'll
okay,
go
okay. All right, all right. Okay, so here's my idea. All right, all right. So basically, all right, hear me out. So here's the level, but I had to absolutely rush this. So I took a second to dream up like how to interpret this, right? Small world. The first thing that I like to do is break things down into what I call paradigms, like the different fundamental ways that you could interpret the theme. There's the literal interpretation, which is like maybe the world is really small and you are big, so like some game about being like a giant or something. You're just big Mario. I don't know. There's like a million ways to play that. Then there's the comparable idea that we're just working with the small parts of the world, like being an ant, or maybe you're like a cell in like blood or something. You're like a red blood cell. I don't know. But the one that I settled on was the whole like funny. Oh, you keep running into people that small world, right? Like you meet someone out of nowhere in like some crazy vacation. You bump into someone that you know in like Europe or something. You're like, what the hell? Small world. So the idea was like NPCs everywhere, just like a bunch of NPCs that are just walking around doing their thing, kind of like Where's Waldo or something, and like do some funny parody of LinkedIn stalking. So you're like a recruiter or something, and on LinkedIn you're like searching for people, but you see a guy and it's like, oh, to view this member's LinkedIn profile, you must expand your connections because you don't have like a first connection to them. So your goal is to like navigate this kind of simulated like little town with like a park and a neighborhood and stuff with NPCs that are just walking all over the place. And all you know is their like LinkedIn profile photos. So imagine like a me or something from like We. You just see like a face. You're like looking for a blue shirt, like this hair color, whatever. And you have to find the NPCs that they interact with. So the NPCs are just kind of programmed to like, I don't know, do their like a set thing every day, and you just have to like hunt them down. We just have to have enough NPCs in the world for this to be interesting. But like maybe one NPC starts every day in like the red house, goes to their job at Publix, and then goes to the park at like 6 p.m. and then goes back to their place. And they interact with like other NPCs. So we'd have to spend some time generating this world and planning that out. But fundamentally, we need to make like a environment. And then you basically you find their first connections, and when you do, you just like bump into them, but it plays a little cinematic. It plays like the Enter the Gungeon. You guys played Enter the Gungeon before?
I've seen a bit of it. I think I've played it a couple times.
There's like whenever you encounter a new boss, it gives you something that looks like this. It gives you like a crazy background.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's like a little introduction screen, and it should just be like oh my god, the person that we're looking for. Small world, huh? And then you kidnap them and force them to connect with you on LinkedIn so that you have a connection to the person that you're looking for. Something like that. That's the idea. So I figured that for this.
Say no vibes.
I'm sorry.
Your description is giving me say no vibes.
I don't.
If you've ever heard of that.
I don't know what that is. No.
No.
I don't know what that is.
It's a game where it's basically all you're doing is just saying no.
Interesting.
That's crazy.
That's pretty funny.
Dude, this is like wholesome Hitman. I love it.
Yeah, it's basically like
It's
recruiter
so fire.
Hitman. Yeah. Okay, I see what you're describing, and honestly, it looks kind of like what. Yeah. Huh. That's funny.
Mhm.
Anyways, okay, yeah. So we need like a environment. So that's my idea here. Is like we'd have like a residential area, some roads connecting everything with like parking lots, like an offices area, maybe like a beach, a park, and this over here. And then all I would need to do to make this interesting, once we have these like really low resolution environments, is set it up in such a way that like um, there's a long list of NPCs with established relationships that do the same thing every day. They just sort of play the same like path. They pathfind to here, they pathfind to there, and then they go back home. And
Mhm.
and then like from there, it shouldn't be too difficult to make a game like this. But definitely a bit of a challenge to do. But yeah, that was my idea. So this is the crappy level design, but yeah,
Mhm.
not as level design themed as it probably could have been. I could have focused more on like cells or something. But yeah, what are you guys thinking?
I think that's awesome.
Cool,
I'd play
cool.
that game.
Thank you. Let's
You could have even like Red Dead levels of NPCs.
yeah, I was thinking there's a game called Tokyo 42, I think. Um
Mhm.
and Tokyo 42 has a really good idea of like it's literally a Hitman game, but it's played isometrically like this. And
Uh-huh.
you're looking for NPCs based on their description. You see these people, they're all like really simple procedurally generated, but they do
Yeah.
have like certain paths that they follow. So you'll consistently run into this like dude with a crazy mohawk in a suit or something. And
Mhm.
every so often you need to like kill them in this really quirky isometric art style. So
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, something like that. Anyways, go ahead, Prez. Let's see yours.
All right.
All right.
Mine was really simple, and I mean really simple. So I literally thought of a literal small world, and I thought of the things that most games have you do in games that are open world of some kind. They have you collecting stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the idea is that you're this player collecting these sort of collectibles so that you can
Mm-hmm.
get to the goal that's over here.
Okay.
And um the so I sort of started by this oval shape. I went into like the player's starting area, gave them some platforms to get to here, and then I created this little cave. I added this little cave here to do a point of interest, as well as a point of interest for like a building here
Okay.
and like a tower here to collect something, so that you can drop this drawbridge and get to your goal on the other side with
Okay.
some little hills in this corner.
Cool. Cool. So a collectathon. Okay, like fundamentally, like it's like a Mario level where there's a couple of stars and you got to find them all. And
Yes.
there's like quirky interactions with the environment that unlock some of the stars. Like you ground pound some button and a star appears, or like
Mm-hmm.
that's cool. That's cool. I like that. I like that a lot. Very nice. Very nice. Nice. So yeah, and that's exactly what the sort of thing I was looking for. Honestly, I did a pretty
Yeah.
silly idea where I'm like, okay, let me make a whole like town. That's a
Mhm.
really that's a simpler level, and it lets you like actually dedicate some effort and time into reproducing it inside of Unreal Engine. Um, okay, Trevor, hit it. Let's see it.
Yup. Okay, so for my interpretation of a small world, I like originally I was thinking like Dragon Ball, where like you have King Kai's world and it is just like a tiny Earth, but
Uh huh.
I kind of scrapped off of that because I didn't really think of how I would do that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So then I went for the interpretation of it's a small world where it's like there's not as much as you think there is, right? So in your game, you kind of made it where it's like, it's a small world, right? You're just running into people, you know.
Yeah.
But the way that I took that is I wanted to give the player like an illusion of choice,
Mm.
right? Where it's like you have these options, but no matter what you do, you're gonna end up in the same place because it's just there. It's I don't know. I thought that was a cool thematic. So then what I
Okay.
actually did here is I made like the starting color this, and I look at the paint bucket, and I just saw these colors going left and right. And so I just painted each of these boxes those colors until I got back to the same color right here.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I have like this weird like fixation on like a heaven and hell kind of dynamic, which I
Okay.
mean, you know,
No,
not that I'm
that's
particularly
cool.
religious or anything, and I don't mean anything by it. It's all particularly figurative. But you know, the concept being like you can go the top path, and that's going to be like a path of ascension, and you know you're very righteous, and you become very powerful, or you can go down and descend into this like form of greed and indulgence, and you kind of go in the same general idea of you're going through levels and fighting enemies that get progressively stronger while you also get progressively stronger, and you get stronger by killing things. So the idea is you come back down here and both paths meet to the same spot, and they fight the same like final end boss that I couldn't like think of at the time.
Mm-hmm.
um but you know they both become strong like kind of in their own ways, but for the same reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the path that I took and interpreted this as. I was also thinking about maybe making like each color like relative to like an emotion or something like that that might associate with it. I don't know if that's a little bit more nuanced. But yeah, that's
Interesting.
my general idea for how this would work.
Oh, that's pretty intriguing. Intriguing as like a game idea. I don't
Mhm.
fundamentally. I'm not gonna lie. Like I don't.
Not about level design.
Yeah. But it's okay though. It's
Not
okay.
level design.
That's all
Yeah.
right. That's all right. But you used a spreadsheet, right? Like you showed how you
Mhm.
can sort of
Yeah.
visually organize things, and that's good. But definitely was looking for more of a level design thing. But it's still good. I'm going to go ahead and move on to like explaining how to go from like a spreadsheet to like a world in Unreal Engine. So I'm going to start
Mhm.
explaining some of the more technical sides of like how to block things out in Unreal, and then how to go back and forth from like block out to something that's a little higher quality. So
Mhm.
um, block out demo. Let me launch Unreal Engine, and I'll go ahead and get that demonstration started. I'm going to make an attempt to put my world into Unreal so that I can demonstrate for you guys some of these ideas. Um, yeah.
Oh, did Mike or Dion have something to share? Or?
Oh yeah, I as I
Uh,
joined late.
Yeah, so when I joined, I immediately had to leave for about 10 minutes, and then when I got back, everyone's muted. So
Didn't
I
know
did
what we
not.
were doing. It's
Nope,
okay.
I did not get the assignment.
Okay.
It's all right. It's all right.
Oh yeah, Will was here, but then he left. Okay.
Um, I'm launching Unreal right now. So yeah, I'm gonna try to explain block out tools. So
Mhm.
there's a few approaches to blocking out things in Unreal Engine. Here's a fresh Unreal Engine environment. I'm
What does that mean?
blocking. Oh, you're right. Yeah, great question. Great question. So blocking out is the process of. I've also heard it called greyboxing. It's
Huh.
the process of
Oh, you're making like a template.
not you're making levels out of really basic geometry just to
Mhm.
explore how the gameplay might work. Here's like
Mhm.
I think I'm guessing this is like super hot or something. Um,
Oh yeah,
here's
that's.
the idea is to make it with really low resolution assets
Uh-huh.
and fill in the level from like a gameplay standpoint but not an artistic standpoint, and that
Yeah.
way you can work on the gameplay and you can program the gameplay, and the artist's job is then to like take chunks of your gray boxed world, export them to get the dimensions right, and then
Mhm.
like replace these assets with high resolution assets. You got a crate here and a
Uh-huh.
crate here. They go out, they export this crate into Blender. They know that it's supposed to be a meter by a meter, and they work within that bounding box, make a really high resolution asset, and then import it back in, and you slowly replace your gray boxed world with high resolution content.
Mhm.
It's here's like CS:GO, I guess, or what is this, like some source engine shenanigans. Whoa.
It's a map.
Yeah, look at that. So this is like the gray boxing of the map on the top of the screen, where it's like
Mhm.
the only aspects that we're focusing on is like angles for like a first person shooter, how it plays. And then they replace these, what are effectively like hitboxes with actual high resolution assets for what the environment should be like. to make it interesting. So yeah, that's greyboxing. It's like a low resolution environment to later fill in with detail. Here's some more worlds and environments that we can see here. So yeah, so here's Unreal Engine, and Unreal Engine has a set of tools. Unreal Engine 5 particularly expanded these tools a good bit. It used to be limited to what was called BSP. BSP stands for there's a thing that they stand for. Oh my god, I'm trying to remember. It's like Boolean something. Binary space partitioning. I found it. So the idea of BSP geometry is that it's like, here we can go over here, go under geometry, and here in this like landscape, I can add box, and here's our box. This box geometry right here it can clip with other geometry. So here's like another BSP brush. I can put these inside of each other, and they don't care. They like there's no clipping happening here. Instead, Unreal Engine like understands the volume that these take up, and it generates the mesh based on the volume that they take up. So you go over here and you do like there's a way to like essentially you hit a button and you make these into a static mesh. But there's no reason to. Sorry, there's not really any reason to. You can just treat them as like BSP brushes. So you can make like staircases, and they have parameters. So you can like increase aspects like step length, step width, number of steps. It's a way to quickly generate a level blockout. Now there's also another, if we go into brush editing mode, so you see right up here, if I click brush editing, I get this window over here. Brush editing mode lets you actually select like individual faces here. So if I wanted to, I could be like, oh, boom, like that. And you can see that's, created a little bit of bugginess actually. Normally it's works a little bit better than that. Not the best example, but you can pick individual vertices. You can extrude them. So if we wanted to make a path, I can hold control, pick these two vertices, and I can do extrude. I think I can do pen from above like this, and then do what? Can I control click, shift click? Do I have to click off of this? There's different ways to do this. Let's see. Pen, alt click, shift click, control click. There's I guess pen I've used these tools before. Swear to God. Swear to God. Creates a new polygon from the selected vertices. The vertices must be selected in clockwise order. Pen. Pen. Create new geometry by drawing the vertices directly into an orthographic viewport. Oh, orthographic. Okay, so that's the key. So we have to... there we go. So what I've just done is I've clicked this button on the top right corner, and this splits the viewport into a bunch of like purely flat perspectives. So if we pick the top-down perspective, which I think is the one on the bottom right here, the pen tool should start working. We should be able to let's see. Let me leave the landscape here. You see what we're doing? We're looking at the landscape from top down. I should hopefully be able to start clicking. Press space to place a vertex. Oops. Okay, let's try this. Space. Oh, look at that. So yeah, there we go. We can, generate some geometry and then connect it, close it, and there it is in our 3D world. So from the 2D viewport, we've just gone and generated some 3D geometry like that. Very nice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a quick way to generate environments like this. So this is how you would do your blocking out in Unreal Engine. You work with these BSP brushes. You can also, you can go for more resolution, you can go for less resolution. Like maybe you like this, but you want this to be more detailed. There's more tools at your disposal, but they get progressively higher effort to utilize. Like for instance, I think there's ways to make these hollow pretty easily. If we go down to brush settings, we could do yeah, there's a lot of shapes over here. Usually under let's drop another one in. Could take this thing and go down to solidity, semi-solid, and now I think we was solidity. Not actually. Make the selected brushes semi-solid. Align brush vertices, whatever. There's like a lot. Hollow, that's what I was looking for. So see, this has gone and generated a second brush, so now there's an interior to this. So if you're making like rooms, you can make them hollow like this. You can connect brushes together. Some other tools to be aware of is right here, this grid snapping. This by default is set to 10 centimeters. 100 is in intervals of 1 meter. So if we work with 100, you can see that the brush is actually snapping exactly to the floor's texture. And that's because the floor's texture is aligned to the global grid by default. So if I just hold down Alt and I duplicate this, everything is now snapping in 1 meter intervals, which makes it a lot easier to design a world if everything is in 1 meter intervals. These are all snapping options. We can do 90 or 45 degree intervals on rotation. We can do scaling in multiples of 1. And then now when I switch to scaling mode, it's significantly, let me Control Z that. Yeah, it just, yeah. Yeah. So, the other thing I wanted to show, the final thing that I wanted to show is that these brushes are all by default set to additive. If you make it subtractive, it will subtract from other brushes. So for instance, if we wanted to create like a bit of a donut shape or like an archway, we could, we could do this and then this and just put that like that. And now it's subtracting. You see what's going on here? It's
so it just subtracts from the model.
Yeah. These are Boolean operations. They like add or subtract volume from a mesh that is then computed down the line. They're not like meshes themselves. They're just volumes.
Wait, so is there like a key combination that you do for that, or?
I just changed this thing to subtractive. I clicked down, down here, I scrolled down and I clicked subtractive under brush type.
Oh, instead of additive. Okay.
Now it's subtractive. Yeah, if I make this guy subtractive and I make this guy additive, then it'll look like oh, that's interesting. This guy is ignoring. Hold on, let's try this again.
It's because you have it hollow.
You think that's why? Even if it's hollow, though, it does create some volume for the walls. Yeah, let's uncheck hollow. No, I think it might be something to do with the order that they're processed in. We could try to do.
Could you shuffle it back and then back forward?
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Turn it off and turn it back on.
Let's go back to selection mode, and let's position this guy. Interesting. I'm very intrigued by this. I don't solidity, solid, polygons, order to first, order to last. There we go. Yeah, it's the order that it was being computed in. So these have an order. Usually that won't come up, but yeah, there we go. And then if I make this hollow again, we should see, yeah, there we go. It's done that. Which, honestly, this is pretty interesting. This is 1 centimeter thick. Yeah, there we go. Nice. So this is, like, it's a quick way to generate some levels. Some very basic levels. The other thing that you should be aware of in generating levels is the landscape tools. So in a second, I'm going to let you guys go loose. But landscapes in Unreal Engine are their own like special object. Just like in Unity, there is like a dedicated landscape system. And you should absolutely use it. I'm going to go ahead and do a new basic level. I'm not going to save this environment. So I did File, New Level, and Basic. So that we load into a level that doesn't have a landscape. It just has this this static mesh on the floor. I'm going to delete that. It has a player start, volumetric clouds, which destroy frame rate. We don't need those. All right, so all we have is a light, this fogging effect, which is kind of this, yeah, just ambient fog, the sky, atmosphere, and then this is like a lighting feature, and the sky sphere, which is just, the distant sky dome. Yeah. So these error messages are really cool. This is what happens when you look into the abyss and the abyss looks back with yellow text telling you that you're looking at the abyss.
Nice.
But once we're inside of the sphere, you see this is like a giant. Here, let me zoom out.
Wait, what?
This is a giant sphere, and once we're inside of it, we can look back out through it, and that's
Oh hell no!
the
Wait.
effect. We're inside of a giant sphere. Most games are using like a giant sphere to create this effect. It's a big static mesh that has a kind of color painted on the inside surface. That color is a big shader, so we can look at the shader graph over here. Sky, atmosphere, light disk luminance is the node that they're using, and I'm guessing that this, if I double click it, is going to open up Visual Studio with like a bunch of code. But irrelevant. I'm sorry, I don't want to. That's not really the point. The point is, it's a giant mesh that has like color on the inside when we're inside of it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how most games do this. That is genuinely like the approach that most games use. Bit of an interstellar, like into the warp hole, the wormhole. Yeah, okay, so what I wanted to do was show landscape. So if we go to landscape, you have to pick landscape mode. We can generate a new landscape, so I can click down here and I can say overall resolution, number of components. You can look into what these things do, and I was going to explain them a little bit later, but for now I'm just going to click create. It generates a landscape, so if I double click that, here we are in our landscape. And now, with these brushes on the left, we can manipulate the landscape. So there's a sculpting tool, and we can generate like hills and stuff like this. So for your environment, I know you had like an island, right? We could do a really big brush like this to generate kind of like a center area that's elevated. And then we would have, if you hold shift, you can, I think shift is subtractive. If we do smooth, we can like smooth this out a little bit. And then we can grab some sort of plane that'll be like our water plane. So let me grab a water plane. For now, just for the sake of showing off, I'm going to use one of these BSP boxes, and I'm going to scale it up massively until it gets to pretend to be a water surface. So I'm just going to scale it up several hundreds of times. Maybe lock the scale here and put in 100, 1000. There we go. And then drag this down. And there we go. We've got an island now. And I know the surface looks really messed up. We could,
Oh, the locked is going crazy.
The what?
The lock.
The luck?
No, the lock, because it's locked to the scale, so the other ones are like way bigger than.
Oh yeah. There we go. So there we go, and maybe 1000 by 1000. So there we go. There we go. And then we've got this like island that we can work with, and you can go back in and replace this with like a water material later, so that it acts like an island. We've got our environment. So landscape mode again. And there's a lot of tools here. You can add things like you can do erosion. If I do erode, it tries to simulate what erosion might do to a surface. There's hydraulic erosion, which actually tries to simulate rainfall. So we start getting these like veins of where water would snake down the side of a mountain, which is pretty cool. It's kind of aesthetic, but there's definitely better ways to handle this. Sometimes the effect is a little too pronounced, and you have to go back in and smooth it out. There is this flatten tool is very useful. So for instance, we can make it like really small, and we can say like, hey, maybe there's a point of interest on top of this hill. So this is where we would build like a chunk of our level, place some houses up here or something. And then if we wanted to have a road there, you can place a ramp. So we click there, and then we click where the end of the ramp will go. You just do add ramp, you know, like that, and then click, click, add ramp, click, click, add ramp. You see what we're doing here? We're adding like a road. You can even create landscape splines where you place a road and then the landscape like warps itself to match the height of the road. So you can kind of create environments like that. But yeah, these are like your tools. You combine this with some of the BSP brush shenanigans that we talked about. So put a box over here, and then you got to make sure you're in like selection mode. But we can generate some, you know, chunks of geometry by working with the BSP brushes. And yeah, this is like the process of blocking out a level. Yeah. I'll let you guys mess around, honestly, until like 5:30 if you want, or 5:40. Try to make a level environment in Unreal, get familiar with these tools, and I'd be happy to answer any questions for the remainder of the meeting today.
Awesome.
Yeah. I know we ran out of too much time to explore this much further, but here I'll try to demonstrate a little bit here. Maybe we have some floating islands or something. So if we're doing like a 3D platformer like Mario, could do platforms like this. It's always very important to keep your chunks of environment organized as well. So
I have a question.
Yeah.
This might be a weird question. What happens if you take a side and you pull it through to like the other side to like invert it?
Oh,
Does Unreal know to like...
yeah, probably. Let's see. Oh. No, it inverts the normals.
Oh,
Interesting.
interesting.
Yeah, so
Wait, so how does
Wait,
that
what?
work? Does that like break?
I'm not sure exactly how it works, but I suppose that the volume is like computed in a manner that just doesn't really like it when you do that. I don't know what to.
Yeah, I was just wondering because when you were pulling it up just then, I'm like, are you gonna pull it through it? And then I'm like, I wonder what what would happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad you. Yeah, not sure. Oh yeah, it looks like we can definitely extrude. So there's the extrude tool, which you can do kind of like this. And then if we wanted to, I suppose we could delete faces, delete points. It's like you're modeling inside of Unreal Engine, but the idea is that it's going to be pretty unpleasant to do a lot of this inside of Unreal because just the tools aren't, you know, built like a modeling suite. So it's a lot better to oh, clockwise, hold on. It's a lot better generally to try to keep it as simple as possible in Unreal. Use a bunch of brushes together, you know, be really quick and dirty with your process. And do the actual heavy lifting outside of Unreal Engine. I guess that's the one thing that I didn't mention is like, okay, yeah, how do you go from like this to working it outside of Unreal Engine? Like you blocked out your level, now what? Then you scroll down on your box brush and you can do something like create static mesh, and it generated a static mesh, and then you can export this. You can say, if we right click on it, we can do, there's a way to export this. There is a way to export this. I'm trying to asset actions, export, there we go. And then you can export and import it into Blender and start replacing it with your own stuff. But yep. Le process. Yeah. Oh, another thing while we're at it, and I was going to go over more of this in the next lecture because the next workshop is going to be about the more technical side of things. But with landscapes, landscapes are fundamentally like two-dimensional. Like yeah, it's 3D here, but it's a 2D height map that describes the height of every point on the surface. So I guess what I mean by that is you're not going to be able to generate overhangs or like archways or something where there's terrain above you. You know what I'm saying? Landscapes aren't, they're not a voxel system where you have like a Minecraft world and you can dig a hole into the side of it. You can only dig up and down. You can't dig like sideways. Right? We can go down, we can go up, but we cannot like dig into the side of this. And the way that you work with that is you can click oh boy, if you there is a tool to if you have landscape layers, you can essentially create like a hole. There's a tool that specifies like, hey, there's no collision at this point, and you can paint a hole into the side of the landscape, and then from there you start working on the inside of that hole using static meshes. So if you guys have ever played like Rust or something, you know that like cave entrances are usually like the mouth of the cave is surrounded by these kind of rocks, and that's there to hide the fact that it's like an edge of a like landscape. They cover it up by surrounding the mouth of the hole with some rocks, and then they work on the inside using like big rock static meshes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope that's been helpful.
Very.
Really? Cool. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Oh, visibility. Here we go. I think I found it. There are some areas where visibility painting is disabled because it doesn't have a landscape visibility mask. So yeah, there's a mask in the material that you have to set up a landscape visibility mask. I'm not gonna go that technical today because landscape materials are a whole big topic, but I'll explain the basics as part of the next workshop that we're gonna start here in a minute. Yeah. Questions?
Anything? I think I might have a question. I just need to see if it's actually going to happen.
Okay. Yeah. What's your question?
Hold on. I just gotta give me like 1 second.
Sure.
Yeah. Why does it do this? Okay. All right. So you see my stream, right?
Oh, I was not looking, but I'll take a look now. Let's see.
Okay, so you see how it's like the abyss, right?
There's
just nothing here.
Yeah.
So
totally
I got
empty level.
a landscape, right?
Yeah.
And then there's nothing here. I don't touch any of these, and then I hit create.
Yeah.
And then it gives me an actor with physical materials needs to be rebuilt.
Okay, that's fine. Don't worry too much about the error. But create was the right step. You are missing some lighting. Let's add some lighting.
Oh yeah, no, I know how to do the lighting because I saw that video. I do this.
There you go.
And I can go here.
Very nice.
Do sky and atmosphere. There we go.
Nice. Okay. If you to do build, like at the top of the screen where it says build, you see at the just click that, and it is going to it's going to pop up another window, and it's going to take it a second. It might also ask you to like accept some firewall thing because it hosts another like separate application on your computer, and they communicate via like TCP or something. But
gotcha.
What you need is I don't know what the deal with the physical material there is. The fact is that landscapes so physical materials, so you know what those are? Materials are like the shaders that go on surfaces, but you can actually define friction and bounce in materials. And that way, using physical materials, you can sample things like, oh, the player is currently walking on like a wooden surface. It's a way to like inject more information into the physics engine, like from the physics engine you can actually retrieve that information and make more out of it. You can be like, oh, they're walking on dirt, let's play dirt noises. Oh, they're walking on sand, let's play sand noises, even if it has no effect on friction. So that's what physical materials means. Now, for it to say one actor with physical materials needs to be rebuilt is kind of surprising. I don't know what that necessarily means in this case.
I mean, I just made the world. If it was a more than that,
actor with physical materials needs to be rebuilt. So I'm googling it because I'm curious.
yeah.
And it
See, because
looks...
when I was doing that like tutorial that I sent you like forever ago, right? Like working through that, I went through a lot of these things, but like it's just it always said it for me, but I didn't see it in the tutorial. And then one time I made a world and it didn't say that.
Under build, where it says build,
Yeah.
click build, and then scroll down to where it says landscape and that like big pop up that comes up.
Yeah.
Build all landscape. Do that and see.
So just build landscape. Yeah.
Yeah,
Build all
yeah,
data related to
try-
landscape.
Try that. See what happens. Yeah.
Yeah. See, because I remember
Oh,
I
it
went
went
through it and I
away.
was just trying to build
Oh,
everything, and it
did
just
not
no.
go
That's because if you click out, it just like if I click on Discord, oh my god, it's gone.
I think they just maybe they want your landscape to just have a physical material.
Maybe.
That might be it. Which it's not. You know, we can do that. Yeah, people are complaining about this on the Unreal Engine forums, but it's not.
Oh my god, dude. Whenever I would go to the Unreal Engine forum and I'd try to scroll, it just wouldn't work.
Interesting. Yeah.
Like I can't scroll down.
Huh.
And I found out that was an issue like a year ago or something like that. But I don't know. I can like tab through it, but it's weird.
I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised you're getting that. I don't know what would be causing that, but I guess I'm not having that issue. But
It's a skill issue. That's all it is.
Yeah, definitely just a skill issue. I mean, but yeah, it's under here, right? So default physics materials. So maybe if I tried to create a new physical material here and I applied it to the landscape, it's giving me that error now as well. So I gave it a physical material. That can define properties like friction, restitution, density, whatever. I'm going to go ahead and click save and click build physical material. And didn't seem to do anything. Let's do build landscape. Oh. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely complaining because of my physical material. Yeah, I'm not really sure about that, but I don't think it's an issue. I just
Yeah, it's an error that just doesn't actually mean anything.
I mean, it probably means something. I just
Something, just not very
not too important.
not very pressing.
Strange,
Yeah.
strange.
Because when I go into this other project that I was doing, which is like what I was working on for the week, right, for tomorrow, like this doesn't give me the issue.
Force no pre-computed lighting. Okay.
Like I have all this set up and it's perfectly fine. Because when I built this landscape, it wasn't upset about it. It was totally cool with it.
Build landscape. Cast dynamic shadow. Okay. Let's go to rendering, lighting. Let's do build landscape. Cast dynamic shadow is set to false. Oh, it's complaining about this guy. Rendering. Part of it for me is this box brush as well. If I just do build landscape, static mesh actor 1, sky sphere. The sky sphere is receiving a shadow by default. That's crazy. Cast shadow, no. Okay, build landscape, please. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here with the landscape. I'm not gonna lie. But, you know, it's something to figure out. But it's not an issue. It's not gonna get in the way of you building.
Yeah. It's just kind of annoying. It's just always there whenever you're doing stuff and it's just red.
For me, it's complaining about the physical material. Build physical material only.
Wait, so how did you even start this without building the landscape? Because I feel like I might have just blinked and like didn't realize.
I just generated a landscape the same way that you did. I went over here to landscape and I generated it.
Oh, but for whatever reason, it just didn't give a issue.
Yeah. Let me go to resize, apply, details. If I select the landscape. I mean, if I don't give it a physical material, it doesn't complain. Like, if I go to, is it miscellaneous? Where would it be? Actor? Oh my, can we just, all, there we go. Transform, no. I hate working on this on my 1080p monitor. It is not enough space. Save the environment, build. Just do build all.
It's fine. Oh no, it's not.
Even though I got rid of the physical material. Fascinating, fascinating. Very interesting. Very interesting. What if I give it back the physical material? Oh, wait. The error went away.
No, it's because you're clicked out of the window.
Oh man. Dude, yeah, I am not sure what's going on here. Build physical material only. Yeah, it is just.
It just
complaining
doesn't
now. That's
make
so
sense.
frustrating. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. You got to learn to ignore these errors a little bit, but that is really frustrating.
Yeah.
Build landscape physical material. This might also be related to the changes in 5.3 with nanite. But yeah, landscape physical material needs to be rebuilt at Unreal Engine 5 issue. Create a new project, save the default map. Want to make sure the entire map was loaded through the. This might be a world partition issue. There's build physical material. Update, new blank project, new blank level. People are able to reproduce it. Same error in 5.3. Same problem. Not resolved. Epic needs to answer this ASAP. I got the issue, but from my understanding, it doesn't really affect anything. To get rid of it, go to build all levels, and before building in the world settings under light mass, build all levels. That is what I did a second ago. It's still airing. That's crazy. Man, dude, there's so many posts in this 3 days ago. Physical materials have nothing to do with the graphics, but with the physics. This is a completely unrelated issue. I think I may have found the actual issue. Two actors, both materials were from Quixel. No. Yeah, some people are shipping their games with the message. Like, it's the error message is really the issue. It's not like it's not related to the gameplay whatsoever.
It just being there is the issue, not that it's not an indicator that there's an issue. It is the issue.
It's like your check engine light is faulty.
Yeah.
Like, that's faulty check engine.
Which is
light.
great until it's not faulty. It's actually just telling the truth. But broken clock's right twice a day.
Yeah. This is crazy. There's a lot of people talking about this, and it seems to just kind of randomly happen. Like, maybe if I restart the editor, it might not be there anymore. There's a slight possibility. Whoa!
Oh wait, dude, check out my stream real quick.
I'm looking at your stream. Yeah, you got the river place.
Dude, check this out.
Nice.
Yeah.
How'd you do the water so fast? What'd you do? Did you
it's pretty crazy.
The Unreal Water plugin? Is that what you? Oh, it's just a mirror material. Oh no, M water. Where'd you get the materials? Where
it's a plane. So a lot of like in the tutorial, the guy just had a bunch of like really good assets.
Nice. Yeah.
So I think if I go here,
there's actually a plugin for Unreal Engine that ships with the engine, and it has the best water. For Unreal, it's very nice, but it's a little bit of a performance hit. But it has the ability to do like oceans, rivers, lakes. It's the same water that's used in Fortnite.
Oh, sick. Yeah, I have I'm just running low right now because I've had a little bit of issues to say the least with my computer. I gotta get like a new motherboard and graphics card for my other computer that I'm gonna upgrade and then use that one instead.
Interesting.
Because the one right now, like the case is just super small and it's just like I feel like the short and sweet is it's fucked. So
I see.
I'm gonna go with that.
Gotcha.
I was working on this, and what's super cool is that with this material here, like I can just show you like this. If I wanted to start sculpting something here, it like automatically generates the cliff.
Yeah. That's
I think it's
that's
amazing. I
it
don't know
is
how
nice.
common that is, but
Pretty
it's
common, pretty standard actually.
Yeah.
Pretty standard. It's
Okay,
it's
cool.
very easy to do. I was gonna cover that today actually. How
Mhm.
to make that yourself. Definitely gonna do that. Cool. Okay, yeah. Now that it's like 5:40, we're 10 minutes into the next one, so I'm gonna end the recording and start a fresh recording, and
Yep,
we'll
yep.
start talking about the technical side of levels and Unreal Engine and lighting and all that. Okay, all right. Without further ado, let's crack straight into it.